Welcome to another adventure. Before the video starts, remember to leave a like and subscribe. Now, enjoy the video. How's it going? Today, we're gonna watch SCP-2786 Meta-Narrative. Is that right? Meta-Narrative SCP? The archetype? I'm not sure. By TheVolgun. This should be interesting. It's a killer object, so this should be quite a fascinating one. And it's a little bit of an old one, so some of his older work, but I thought it looked cool, and I believe it was a recommendation. And without further ado, let's get into it.
Notice from the Records and Information Security Administration. The following documentation has been flagged as compromised by SCP-2786's effects. Due to the nature of this anomaly, this has been deemed safe for reading for the time being. However, contents of the article may fluctuate between readings and may or may not be considered accurate at this time. Please wait to initiate recalibration sequence. We apologize for any inconvenience this may cause.
Oh, so I guess it's like an info hazard? Oh my.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Dr. Miller, and the SCP we're going to be studying today is SCP-2786. Object Class: Special Containment Procedures.
What is going
Description: Addendum 2786.1. Addendum 2786.5.
There's this. What?
Footnotes: In the event of a catastrophic breach of Foundation archives due to SCP-2786's influence, protocol is to be placed in effect immediately. Removal and destruction of effective narratives are the only means of completely erasing SCP-2786's influence. What we're going to be studying today is SCP-2786. Object Class: Keter. Special Containment Procedures. The first portion of these special containment procedures have been stricken from the document, but I'm going to read them anyway. SCP-2786 is currently considered uncontained and is to be apprehended immediately. This ends the stricken portion of the special containment procedures. SCP-2786 is currently held within a provisional enhanced containment complex, as per review of the Site-180 Director. Due to the nature of SCP-2786, all personnel assigned to the study and reconnaissance of the anomaly are to exhibit extreme caution during testing.
So far, it's pretty clear that this thing is some, I would say nearly some type of info hazard. Knowing about it makes it spooky. As they said in the opening, removal of all information of SCP-2786 is the only way to really mitigate its effect, like to completely wipe it out. So it must be something to do with its info. We still don't know anything of it, how it looks like. But I will say kudos though. It must have taken quite a lot of editing to get that opening, where you have like everything like glitching out and all that. So I thought that was pretty cool. But let's keep going.
Description: SCP-2786 is the designation for a metaphysical entity, narrative-based, bipedal humanoid of indeterminate age, sex, and appearance. SCP-2786 will be idiosyncratically perceived by any being that interacts with it, varying traits from interaction to interaction. SCP-2786 displays symptoms of narcissistic personality disorder and appears fantasy-prone, often having difficulty distinguishing between internal landscapes, narrative works, and physical being. SCP-2786's nature was first brought to the attention of the Foundation when several forms of horror media were found to have been illegally altered in a means that did not coincide with standard editing equipment. Upon closer observation, all narratives altered in this manner involved substantially changing the plot to include SCP-2786, who is always perceived as a protagonist or a Deus Ex Machina character. SCP-2786's presence in the story ultimately disrupted the flow of events, leading to completely different and often positive endings. SCP-2786's actions within various media suggests that it may have a mild form of precognition or anomalous intuition, often preventing characters from progressing the plot in a way that avoids danger entirely.
let's take an example of that. I didn't really get that. Does that mean, okay, so the SCP itself often put himself as the main character of, let's say, a movie, right? And then changes everything to make it a good ending. Imagine something like that in, let's say, Annabelle, right? If you haven't seen Annabelle, it's like a possessed doll. The doll is like spooky, and there's a lot of things happening. If he was to affect it, he would first of all put himself as the main character. You know, it's a little bit of a narcissistic behavior. But he would also make it so that it would always end well. I don't understand that. Does that mean like, okay, so if he was in Annabelle, does that mean like he would just like walk out the door and just keep walking and let it be? Like, you know what I mean? Or like do certain things that would prevent the whole thing from happening, making the movie interesting in the first place. Now it says he does this with literature. Now does that inform all types of literature? Does that like let's say like movies, but does it do it with books, theater pieces, anything of the same nature? All we know is that it happened. I believe they said it happened in a video. And that's the only thing we know. Now that's all we really know, so we gotta keep going if we want to learn more.
Addendum 2786-1-1A. List of alterations. The Shining. Film, 1980. Film is without alteration until halfway through, during a scene in which two characters venture into a hedge maze. SCP-2786 is seen briefly in the background, apparently observing the individuals. Entity moves off camera and is not seen until 20 minutes later. SCP-2786 reappears in the Overlook Hotel, approaching antagonist Jack Torrance from behind. Torrance is drinking heavily and conversing with the ghost of a dead bartender. SCP-2786 takes Torrance's drink from him, pours it out, and hits him over the head with the glass. The rest of the Torrance family is escorted off the premises by SCP-2786 and into the blizzard. Camera cuts to epilogue. Danny and Wendy Torrance in a new studio apartment and apparently doing well. Movie ends 45 minutes early. Silent Hill. Film. 2006.
That's strange.
SCP-2786 manifests early on, warning main character Rose not to bring her daughter to Silent Hill. After it becomes apparent that they are adamant about going, SCP-2786 frowns and disappears off camera. Sometime later, Rose goes to start her car only to find it non-functioning for an unknown reason. Unable to make the trip, Rose and her daughter stay inside and build a 1,000-piece jigsaw puzzle of a lighthouse until the movie abruptly ends.
Wait, okay, so he actually does it. He actually just fucks with the movie and makes it a good ending, which is interesting. I mean, it is weird that he's always trying to be like the main character, you know, the good guy, the kind person of it, and then he's like making the movie absolute. I would consider boring. Imagine boys. Today we're gonna watch Silent Hill. Ooh. And you see it, and there's like a motherfucker just breaks down the car and they never leave. And so they're just chilling at home with a jigsaw puzzle and then it turns off. I gotta be honest, I freaking love the SCP. It's so absurd, it's so creative, and the effect of it is hilarious. In a sense. At least I personally find it incredibly funny. Somebody just goes in after it and look at me, I'm the hero of this one, you know? That's brilliant.
House of Leaves. Novel. 2000.
What is a novel?
SCP-2786 appears in the Novidson meta-narrative, confronting Karen and insisting that she and her family avoid moving to Ash Tree Lane. Karen convinces her husband, and the Novidson record ceases to exist for the remainder of the story. Narrator-protagonist Johnny Truant is no longer negatively affected by the material, going on to describe his life at the tattoo parlor, which seems relatively improved by SCP-2786's presence. Entity is referred to as Hero throughout the story, which ends 300 pages early. Cabin in the Woods. Film, 2012. While not seen right away, SCP-2786 appears shortly into the film, posing as one of the group of college kids heading to a remote cabin for vacation. No characters refer to the entity by name or gender, but do not seem fazed by its presence and react candidly. SCP-2786 attempts to stop the characters from interacting with one of the many cursed items in the basement of the cabin, including the diary of one Patience Buckner, an event that would otherwise go on to resurrect the undead corpses of her and her family. Unfortunately, SCP-2786 was unable to keep one of the main characters, Marty, from inspecting a set of negatives on the vintage projector reel, setting in motion the release of a large lycanthrope, which proceeds to maul one of the teenagers. SCP-2786 appears to pull entity off character, grabbing a spoon from a set of vintage silver cutlery found conveniently nearby and repeatedly stabbing it until it expires. Film ends without mention of B-plot, the final scene detailing their escape from the woods and recounting of the event from the table of a fast food restaurant in what is presumably a future date.
Wait, what? Wait, who did he stab with the spoon? Was it the camera set? It wasn't the boy, right? I didn't understand. I didn't get that. Grabbing a spoon from a set of vintage silver cutlery, found conveniently nearby, and repeatedly stabbing it until it expires. I guess it's the video itself. I don't know. I haven't read this. I don't know about this. Was it a novel? No, it was Cabin in the Woods. Yeah, I haven't seen this movie. So I don't really know what the fuck's going on and what the plot is and stuff. So it made it a little bit confusing for me, I gotta be honest. But I don't know. There's probably a word for it, but I don't really remember. It's like hero syndrome. You know, people who they're like firemen that will literally like light on building just so they can go and rescue the people there. I feel like there's like the sense of that. He's just, I don't know, because it's it's just a fascinating concept. I do wonder, how exactly is it that he's changing it? And is it on like a certain, okay, so he's like changing books, he's like changing movies and doing all these things. And but how? How is he doing that? Is it so that if I present him with the Teletubbies, dude, a beautiful CD or cassette of the Teletubbies to the SCP, he will interact with it and put himself as the main hero. You know what I mean? Man, imagine just... I was thinking about all the funny videos, all the videos that you could do this with. It does seem, though, that he's only doing this with literary work that has a bad ending, you know? So if it has a good ending, I'm not sure if he changes it or that he just rather takes the form of the main character instead, in a way, you know? He's like, he becomes the main character, you know? If he was to put himself into, let's say, Lord of the Rings, right? He would probably be the one to receive the ring, right? And then walked over to fucking Mordor and put it in there, right? But when it's like a bad ending, then he like tries to solve it. Though I must admit, it's not sure that he would actually affect literature that has a good ending. We don't know that for sure. And it might be that he doesn't, but you know, it is what it is.
Amnesia: The Dark Descent.
Oh, video game.
2010. An affected copy of the game, player is greeted by SCP-2786 when the protagonist Daniel awakens on the floor of the castle without his memory. SCP-2786 addresses the character directly and not the player, insisting they sit this one out. SCP-2786 proceeds to progress into Castle Brenberg, the camera following it despite no further dialogue on the character's end, suggesting they were left behind. Player is unable to control any game functions aside from pausing the game, during which SCP-2786 is seen loitering in the background and appearing impatient. Completion of game by SCP-2786 is done swiftly, the entity brute forcing most puzzles and interacting with the environment in a way that is not possible for the player. Upon encountering a gatherer, SCP-2786 is heard snorting before brandishing a handgun from an unknown source, which proves effective in terminating the usually impervious enemies. Game proceeds in this manner until it confronts and kills main antagonist, Alexander Brenberg, after which it appears to flex for no one in particular, sigh, and then walk off camera. Game credits roll shortly thereafter.
So he just I don't know, I think that's hilarious. I do. Man's just like ultimate cheat codes, man. Imagine bringing this guy to like League of Legends or RuneScape. He would just stop the match, go kill the enemy, just end the game, break through the puzzles, just be a fucking absolute Chad gamer, dog. That's crazy. I love that. I think that's hilarious. I don't know why. I just absolutely love the idea. I think it speaks to the average person on a certain level. You know what I mean? At certain situation, we just kind of wish we were God and would be like, dude, fuck this, done. Easy clap, boys. Right? And it's like he's doing it. I don't know. I think it's funny.
Incident log 2786-1-1A. On 3 days before scheduled monthly terminations and reassignment, SCP-2786 appeared to manifest on site without warning. Subject remained cooperative for the most part, but was generally considered obdurate and unlikable. Though seemingly incorporeal, SCP-2786 exhibited an apparent blending of reality, narrative causality, and internal fantasy. Hume readings of SCP-2786 reveal little difference from baseline, yet the anomaly behaves and interacts with reality in a way that warps the flow of events to follow what appears to be standard narrative cohesion. It is unknown how SCP-2786 managed to manifest itself within the Foundation, but there has been some hypothesis on the nature of this subject.
Okay.
Addendum 2786-1-2A. Interview logs. Interviewee, SCP-2786. Interviewer, Agent Marcus McClanahan. Note: this was the first and only recording of a willing interview between SCP-2786 and Foundation personnel.
Oh, that's crazy.
Playing log now.
Well, I think that's phenomenal. I think that's really cool. But we've got to remember, man is always changing stuff. So I bet those logs have been changed too. But I have a feeling that that's the case, right? Because why wouldn't he? Why wouldn't he be like, during the interview, he's probably going to be something like, oh, so Mr. Royal, absolute magical hero, whatever, right? I bet that the SCP itself is just going to change all the logs like completely. I'm 100% sure he's going to be infiltrating compliments and fake admiration for sure. There's no way he isn't. So we got to keep that in mind. This might be the only log, but it's probably something wrong with it.
Alright, this is a bit impromptu, but given the circumstances, I think you at least owe us some answers.
Straight to the point. I like it. Works for me too. I have business elsewhere.
Business? What kind of business?
The hero's work is never done.
So you're a hero then?
Am, always have been. Is that what this is about?
Not quite. How did you end up in our facility?
What? This chop shop? Same way I find myself in any other place. I go where I'm called upon.
So, who called upon you?
Those in distress. The suffering. Is this really not making any sense to you? I'm the champion. It's what I do.
Is that what you were doing when we found you? In the horror flicks and the books?
The what now?
Where you were before you manifested here.
Ah, you meant the campground? Camp Crystal Lake.
Yes, that's the one.
That one's actually a funny story. See, I usually have a rough time with the bigger guys. Sometimes even I worry I won't make it out when the baddies are eldritch horrors or what have you. Those teenagers, I can't even believe they needed me to dispatch one guy for them. I have more important things to do than babysit a few kids who made the mistake of ignoring all the obvious warning signs. This guy comes lumbering out of the woods, Burly fella, big old knife in hand. I barely broke a sweat kicking his mask in.
I saw that. Yes.
You were there?
Not exactly. No.
Huh. So is that it? Can I go?
We still have a few more things to discuss.
Listen, I've been pretty cordial considering. I usually get right to work, but honestly, you guys have been holding me up from the get-go. I'm here for a reason, you know.
Right. Suffering. Who might they be?
I think you know. It's better if you don't, anyway.
SCP-2786 promptly stands up and phases through the wall on its left. Containment breach alarms trigger shortly thereafter.
You know what? That log actually didn't seem to be that changed. He seemed like an arrogant son of a bitch, and I honestly, dude, absolutely hooked on being a hero. But it's fascinating, he cannot tell the difference between fiction, reality, or any other sort of those things, right? He was speaking as if it was a place, as if it was a world, you know? And then he went in and saved them. That is so curious. What a strange dude.
Following the events of the interview, Site-180's humanoid containment wing and 7 of its 10 D-Class personnel cell blocks were found breached by an unknown source. SCP-2786 is suspected to have been involved in the event. Approximately D-Class and humanoid anomalies were found missing from their chambers. SCP-2786 remains at large. SCP-2786 was detected less than 48 hours later, attempting to save characters in a Blu-ray copy of Saw 4 in the Site-180 employee lounge. The affected copy was played on a loop until its current containment measures were devised. SCP-2786 has been placed in its enhanced narrative complex, and containment is considered a success.
Oh shit, so they actually just put it on replay and the man went in and continuously saved them. Because it's like a reset every time. Fascinating way to contain an SCP. I think that's kind of cool. I'm not gonna lie. Well, I'm just trying to imagine what it's like to be this SCP, right? He's not actually. It doesn't seem like a bad fella. Just a little bit arrogant. Just a not very. You know, he's on his own grind. It seems. His own complex reality bending grind. But you know. But the question is, will he do the same in the reality? You know what I mean? I mean, it nearly looks like it because he did free a lot of SCPs that was contained, if you will. And if he's a hero of all stories, of all realities, in a sense, or at least tries to be, then it's not too difficult to imagine that, okay, these have been captured and needs to be set free, to be saved. So he let them go. I could see that as a logical step-by-step process for why the SCP would do what it does now.
Thank you very much for listening, and you are all dismissed. Goodbye. Hello, everyone. My name is Researcher Miller, and the thing we're going to be, I guess, reading today
Oh, this is cool.
is SCP-2786. Object class. Special containment procedures. Description.
This is
Addendum
creepy, man.
2786.1. Addendum 2786.5. Addendum 2786.27. Footnotes. You can't shut me up. You can't keep me here. 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 Please, I just want to go home. Hello, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at SCP 2786. Object Class Oblique. Special Containment Procedures. There is nothing that can be done. Description. I am in control now. You thought you could hold me down? You thought you were the heroes of this story. Think again. I'm the hero of this story. My story. This will always be my story. Addendum 2786.1. Interview logs. Interviewer, SCP-2786. The hero. Interviewee, Senior Researcher Campbell of the Foundation.
Oh!
The enemy. Playing log now.
You wanted to see me? Please, sit down. So good of you to finally meet with me like this. You know I only want what's best for you, right? For everyone. It won't be like this forever. We will continue. Don't you get it? This is my story. I am the protagonist. That makes you, the royal you, your foundation, the villains. How melodramatic. You're a child. This world is my world, don't you see? The hero's journey, it presents itself to me. I cannot fail. I will win, always, in every iteration. Every iteration? I've been around for a long while. Every time evil rises, and it always does, I'm there to fell them off. You are the newest evil. We aren't evil. Please, spare me. I've seen the things you do. The corpses of the damned, the ones you give false hope, the ones whom you take hope away from. These things we do are for the greater... Don't you dare say the words greater good. You aren't altruists. You're scientists and murderers. What do you think we should have done then? These things wreak havoc on the world. Let it salt and burn? You should have just let me handle it. And where were you then? During this containment breach? Where was our precious hero then? Your hero was busy. Busy doing what? There are bigger forces at work here. The hero goes where his path leads him. This is ridiculous. This dialogue is over. The dialogue ends when I say it ends! Fine. You were boring me anyway. Thank God for that.
That was strange. Oh, it's still going, but holy... Woo, that's creepy. He became the interviewer and is now interviewing the researcher. Yeah, the Foundation has done some shit. I mean, hey, what can we say? The Foundation has done some things here and there, you know, put a little bit of spice here, a little bit of, you know, D-class in the grave. But, you know, for the greater good, of course. But he's kind of right about that, you know. But I guess his view of it is a little bit more, you know, Disney-like, I suppose.
Hello? You guys there? I know you're there. Anyone? I'm ready to go again, you know. Where's the action at? I'm not hearing anyone. Wait, what is this? Where am I? What the hell is going on?
Wait, I didn't see what the last part was.
What the hell?
Wait, let me just stop. I won't read it. Wait, what is going on? No, wait, what is this? Where am I? What the hell is going on? Catastrophic abort at line 24. Rogue alteration to document detected. Restructuring.
Wait, what is this? Where am I? What the hell is going on?
Oh, Jesus. Oh, so the whole thing was restructured? Okay.
SCP. Object Class None. Special Containment Procedures.
SCP-2786 does not physically exist, and therefore
no containment measures are necessary.
Description. SCP-2786 is a non-anomalous
fictitious character that exists solely
for the purpose of endless torment by its spiteful gods. SCP-2786 was a good character. SCP-2786 did everything right. SCP-2786 doesn't understand.
Ooh. Okay.
SCP-2786 just wants to go home. Home.
Ooh. That is really fascinating. Wait, so then we kind of know what's going on then. So a god has cursed him, in a sense. Was there anything more? Oh, there is more. Okay. So then we know that that god has cursed him.
I would like to give a special thank you.
Whatever, it's Patreons. What? I didn't know. Yo, so then we know him? Did we? Oh, okay, so he's been cursed then. He's a cursed man by his god, and he just wanted to go home. That gives us somewhat of a background information, if you will, about the character itself. It seems though as he is literally cursed. He is being by somebody else, and that's why he is the way he is and has the abilities that he has. Now, is he human? We don't really know. He's a humanoid, so he has some features that are human, but they continuously change, you know? Like he said, he's been around for a long time. Maybe 1,000 years, 10,000 years, 1,000,000 years. Who knows? Was he human? I have a feeling he might have been. Otherwise, why would he be on Earth, you know? Maybe. But there's no necessity. For sure, it's no necessity. I do find it fascinating, I must say. What a great SCP. Just all around, fan-fucking-tastic. That was a great one. Thank you guys for the recommendation. I see why you guys like this one. This one was a great one. I appreciate it. Thank you. As always, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to follow me on Twitch. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Fuck it, wait, it's actually... I just remembered. It's Monday today, isn't it? Wait, I was supposed to fucking stream today. I forgot. Well, my bad. I just realized I was supposed to stream today. Apologize for that one. Anyways, take care guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Into the